Welcome to Homestead, where every block tells a story and every seed holds a future. You're about to enter a world built on survival, storytelling, and the quiet beauty of the land. Whether you're a builder, adventurer, or cozy role player, there's something here just for you. Pro tip: follow the quest book to guide you through the mod pack's core features, from farming to fantasy. So, let's start our story. And where we spawn is really quite pretty and rocky, but I'm focusing on the pretty part. We also spawn in with these books, which... This first book says, "Welcome to Homestead, a world shaped by patience, purpose, and the gentle hum of invention. Here, every wheel that turns tells a story. Every field that grows carries the legacy of quiet hands and clever minds. Whether you're tilling soil or tinkering with gears, you're part of something older than you know. Take your time, build with care, and remember, even the smallest spark can turn the world." And then if we click on Welcome to Homestead, Homestead is more than a mod pack. It's hand-built world shaped by the patience, passion, and creativity of Tokimi and the Cozy Chord staff team. The quest book is your companion, your whispering guide through the progression of this new world. It's designed to gently nudge you toward key discoveries, reward your wanderings, and help you shape your journey at your own pace. And this is what the quest book pulls up. Welcome to Homestead. Step into a land where old magic and cozy homesteads wait for your touch. Ancient valleys, overgrown farms, and relics of the past beckon you to shape the world however you like. Will you rebuild, explore, or uncover its secrets? This is your chance to create something special. Welcome home. They say that a lot. And with the click of a check mark, we got our first quest rewards, which were diamonds, of all things, and also some XP. But the diamonds is wild. The rest of the quests on that page were, for the most part, basic Minecraft advancements. Get logs, make sticks, torches, tools, you know the drill. Given the quests and the fact that you can't really do anything without tools, I decide to chop down some trees. This is where we run into our first problem. We're on an island made completely of stone, as it turns out. There are no trees. There are seashells, though, which are pretty cool, then moss, then gravel, but no trees, which we kind of need. So I ventured to the corners of the island, trying to get the map to expand out far enough to see if there's some land close by with trees on it, collecting various bits and bobs as I go. But my efforts are to no avail. The map doesn't show any land other than ours, just a bunch of ocean. And the sun is starting to set. I decide that I might as well pick a direction and start swimming, since at least in the ocean there's only drowned, and not creepers and spiders and skeletons and whatnot. And some land does eventually show up on our map. But when I go to it, well, look me in the eyes and tell me that that doesn't look like a sea monster when it first appears. I am far too used to Subnautica, even though I haven't played it in a while. I thought it was some sort of giant kraken thing and that it was going to eat me. But it's not. It's just some sort of weird arch-shaped landmass with glowberries and moss and stuff. What it doesn't have, however, is trees, and neither do the similar land masses nearby. Then some drowned show up, and, well... I respawn, anything you could have vaguely called progress lost. However, When I check the map to figure out which direction to head in, it shows some very tree-having looking land that I didn't see before, because the map hadn't loaded that far before. I didn't even really head in that direction. I don't know why it showed up this time on the map. Whatever. What do you know, when I get to the land, there's trees. We can finally actually do something other than swim, gather seashells, and die. The biome we end up in is called tropics, with palm trees, these cool fern bush things, and some bushes with really pretty flowers on them. And we also get some tropical bird sounds, which is really cool. I chop down my first tree, and I contemplate leaving it as a floater because the palm trees are really tall and a bit weirdly shaped, so getting the rest of it would be a pain, but in the end I chop it all down. Be proud of me. The tree chopped down, I continue on exploring, finding some hibiscus flowers, which are really pretty, and then I come across the biome that makes up the rest of the island we're on. Mushroom fields. Under any other circumstance, this would be a really cool find, but I'm looking for someplace to habitate. I'm looking for a habitat for myself. I want grass, more than one type of tree nearby, and mushroom fields don't provide any of those things. They do provide these cute little guys though, so that's a plus. Not wanting to explore the mushroom fields quite yet, I decide it's high time that I actually craft some tools. The zombie sounds nearby greatly influence my decision to craft a sword first, and it's a good thing I did. Zombie slain, I craft the rest of the wooden tools. I figure I should probably craft a bed as well, so that I can, sleep through the night so there's less monsters and I'm less likely to die and respawn back at the rocky island of doom and despair. Thankfully, a couple of sheep show up on the mini-map, so it's not all that hard to get the wool I need. Sheep slain and wool collected, I realize I really need some food. I figure, hey, we're really close to a supply of mushrooms, why not make some mushroom soup? Well, aside from the fact that it seems like the vanilla version of mushroom soup is not a thing in this mod pack. There are a couple other much more complicated mushroom soups, but none that I could make immediately. By the time I figure all that out, the sun is setting, so I craft a bed, and can we please appreciate how cute the panda design is? And then I went to sleep. In the morning, I end up just eating the raw mutton we got from the sheep since I couldn't really figure out any other food source and didn't have any stone to make a furnace. Then I realized that I could really use some more wood and go to chop down one of the flower bushes. This is when I discovered that we do in fact have a tree chop down mod, which I promptly use on a palm tree as well. All that wood gathering meant that I had completed the log collection goal, or quest I suppose, as it's called, which got me some XP and a enchanted stone axe. While flipping through the quest book, I come across another one of those click a check mark, get reward quests, so obviously I click the check mark, and I get a flint knife, which I think we need for harvesting stuff, as well as a pie. Then I pick up my bed and crafting table and start exploring the mushroom fields. I pretty quickly come across one of these enchantment setup thingies, which end up being everywhere in the mushroom fields, and I get some bones, books, and enchanted books from them. So basically all of the enchanted books I find end up being feather falling too, so I stop grabbing them after a while. I find a second enchantment setup, loot that one as well, and then I come across a small ravine, and I figure that it's as good a time as any to upgrade from wood to stone tools. At this point, I had completely forgotten about the enchanted stone axe we had gotten, so yeah, we have 2 stone axes now. With my tools upgraded, I continue on, coming across yet another enchantment setup. I don't understand why there were so many of these things. Anyways, at this point I'm just following the coastline, trying to generate as many not island chunks as possible, so hopefully some other landmass would show up on our map. I come across 2 more enchanting setups, and then I find a mushroom temple, which I poke around in a bit, but decide I don't want to risk blowing myself up if it's like desert temples, so I ultimately just continue on. A bit later, I find this weird patch of dirt next to a structure that I'm pretty sure was a wishing well, but I didn't really feel like figuring out how it worked because, you know, didn't want to risk dying, so I once again continued on. Also, can we please appreciate just how massive this island is? Like, what the frick? And 90% of it is mushroom fields. I don't find anything else all that interesting for the rest of the day, though I do see another of those enchanting setups, and once the sun starts to set, I place my bed and sleep. It is at this point that I notice the snoring noises. I love them. You should love them too. And look at the little Z particles! Anyways, the next day I continue following the shoreline and use the golden leaf thingy we spawned with to refill my hunger. By this point, I've almost completely circled the island and no promising looking land masses have appeared on the map. What I do find, however, is a village, and just like, look at the houses, they're adorable. I loot 1 chest that I empty some of the junk in my inventory into, taking some emeralds and a corn seed. I wander around the village a bit before deciding I really should decide what direction to head off into next. While looking at the map, I find a sea temple, which, while not exactly useful at the moment, is still good to know for later. In the end, I decide to try and fill in some of the blank spots on the map between the rocky island and the mushroom island, so I craft myself a boat, since, you know, we have the wood to do that now, and off I head. And this is the point where my computer starts to struggle, and as such, chunks take absolutely forever to load. Like, our mini-map starts to get empty sections in it. This makes exploring an absolute pain, although I do come across this cool floating village, which I take a look around. After I've looked around the floating village enough to be satisfied, I get back on my boat and continue on. And other than chunks continuing to take forever to load, I can't say anything really interesting happens. Time passes, the sun sets, you know how it goes. And then I get freaking jump scared. Yes, I got jump scared by land, what's your point? I get out of my boat, and since it is night, I sleep. In the morning, I make my way up the sort of cliff thingy that makes up the part of the shore that I landed at, and look, tree variety. It's a miracle. I start exploring to the left, which makes the island seem a bit small at first, but it's still loads better to live on than the other 2. After I make my way to the left end of the island, I start heading to the right. And this is when things get even better. Improvement number 1, look at this hedgehog. It's adorable, I love it. None of the other islands had hedgehogs. Improvement number 2, we find some wild onions. Probably one of those things we need the flint knife to harvest, maybe, probably. And I'm also pretty sure we can get some onion seeds from them. Improvement number 3, I find a third biome on the island, a bamboo forest, which, in addition to the rocky shores and just general forest, beats out our previous record of 2 on the Mushroom Fields island. And improvement number 4, well, it turns out that this island really isn't small, like, at all, actually. Also, we come across 2 more biomes in quick succession, the savanna and the rocky meadows. All of this, plus the absolutely adorable ducks I find, convince me that here would be a good place for a starter base. That rhymed. a starter base that we will be building next episode. Before the end of the video, however, let me quickly apologize for the weird editing on this video. When I went to edit my gameplay footage, it turned out that my mic had been muted while I was recording, hence this video being only voiceover. Make sure you're drinking enough water, get outside a bit, just generally take care of yourselves, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!